received our battery. See our
Kodo second battery. Here's something I did is mark the end of this black on one side so wouldn't have to fight with which end is up. Just put that marked on there. The one thing about this battery, it seems to be the same size, except this has a tab on it. And so I was going to make a tab, and seriously, how about a blade, Carl? Want something thin enough.
Now lay here, huh? Fold it there. Touch it right there.
Loop it like that, and that's basically what this is. A piece of tape that's taped over here. It looks like right here is supposed to be a little nib that is a piece of plastic that's actually pressed down that looks like it clamps the battery in. So that's, without really forcing it hard, that's as far as it wants to go. Okay, so I have two batteries. This is the battery that came out of there. This is the 600 milliamp, and obviously it's wide. That means I need to do some fabrication there to make that fit. And the Syma battery is the same power as the Kodo battery, so we're just going to use that. It's a little different size. It's a little small and doesn't fit, so we're just going to wrap some tape around there. Yeah, I see that it doesn't fit. Now put some tape around it. Okay, yeah, that's not the tape. Yeah, put tape around it. There you go. Now we wrap some tape around there. Box tape works just fine. Now let's see. That should do it. A little bit more. Put another piece on there. There you go. And now it goes in and stays. Now the other thing we did is, oh yeah, it's nice and tight. Didn't fall out. That's good. So the other thing we did is when we mark these ends, you make sure that they line up the little black side, and that makes it just a whole lot easier, really, to get that thing plugged in. I was going to check it out and make sure everything lines up. The rotors are the best upgrade you can do for this. Just the strength and the design of them, they fly better. You can obviously the bright orange versus the black, it's really cool. Anyway, the controller needs some help, so we're going to do away with the box. It worked really well, looked better than the original. However, we're going to upgrade this whole deal. You notice that what holds that in is the shape on the edges. So we're going to have to incorporate that into the new whatever controlling holder. So we'll get some styrofoam, obviously about the right size. Make sure it's the right size. Take the controller, get that out of the way. Make sure that the controller is going to fit on there right. It's the right thickness, how much you're going to need to cut out. And then go ahead and lay out the controller. And obviously we're using the Syma controller as your guide. It's a really feels good in the hands, and it's easy to control, so we'll just use that. Just mark around right quick. It's not going to make that much really make that much difference by the time we're done with it. Yes, and like the edges, and what we're going to do here is leave a little bit extra in front, so there's actually a tab in the front to hold the controller in, as well as the rounded edges, so it'll be a lot more stable, especially because it's styrofoam. We want to make sure it stays in real well. So there you see the little tabs. This is going to be fun to cut out, right? And then mark that, mark the height. Nah, you don't need to do it that way. There's an easier way to do that, but yeah, go ahead and try to tell me that. Okay, so there you go. Mark it out. Da 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 da. Looks good. That's about right. That's about right. So you're going to take this thing outside and cut it, because the styrofoam makes one heck of a mess. And try to not only cut it to shape, take a file, a wood file and a rasp, and round off the edges and see what we'd come up with. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Okay, we're looking for something to coat this out with. And plastic coat melted a big hole. You can see here this black hole. Loctite glue melted an even bigger hole. And we're trying to figure out some way to put a little extra support on that tab. And so the glue's not working, and the plastic coat's not working. So I tried enamel, seemed to work. But in retrospect, I should have just used plain old latex enamel. Latex enamel would have worked much better in the long run. So here's the enamel worked, and it works pretty well. And I'm going to add, with Elmer's glue, add it on a piece of cardboard to strengthen those little ears on the end to hold the controller in, because that styrofoam, they were so thin. Yes, that's right, Elmer's. It worked pretty well. To strengthen those little ears, because the controller might push, and the way they're designed there. One-shot enamel. Yeah, that worked pretty well, but I still should have just used latex enamel. Okay, then now eventually it did soak in. It did melt in a little bit on the sides, but just on the two sides, not all over, just right there on the side. That was a little bit weird. Now we're going to let this dry, and while it's drying, we can go out and fly a little bit.
Smack at it. Smack at it. I feel better, even though QuickTime is not functioning. That's so weird. No, it's not quick, it's screen capture. Alrighty, buddy. So, looking at
Trimming is if it's flying, and if it's going to the left, trim to the right. If it's going to the right, trim to the left. It's going too far forward, trim to the back. And the objective is to hover. Without crashing. The objective is to hover. Because if we can't hover, it can't fly. See, it's wanting to go to the left, so all right. Upside down is not good. We're going to try this again, facing off. And hopefully I've got my thing right here. I have noticed that if it takes a hard crash, sometimes it back, back, back. Now I've got it on low on purpose so that hopefully the action on the joystick is a little more obvious. Back. See how it's getting turned, so this is where we have to really concentrate on its forward, its back. I'm not trying to do a maneuver, I'm trying to make it see still. Trying to make an adjustment for forward. Seems to be dragging forward on its own, so back right. Those lights, I did fly this at night for a moment once, and those lights are really, really bright at night. Back and right, left, back and left, back and right, back. I don't, why it's so, back, back and right, back and forward, there you go. So the difference between, that's a hover, that's a hover. That is a hover. Oop, right, wait. That's not hovering. That's flailing around. So there is a little bit of a breeze, so that helps. It helps because we want it to move, so that we have to make compensation, and that's how we learn how to fly or drive. Forward, let's see, forward to me. So we're flying forward to me, that means everything's, it's back, it's left, it's right, it's back, it's left, and, And I did notice, now there's one other thing, there's a reset that I haven't quite read the instructions thoroughly enough to grasp, where the reset here, if you shut the controller off, unplug it, and then plug it back in, that resets the gyro. There's supposed to be a thing where you can use the controller and reset the gyro. You set it down. Well, if you go play with Chinese toys, you should speak Chinese, right? Yeah. Chung chong wang ah. Okay, is it right in front of my face? Okay. Far housed. So here's my controller, but you know, I painted with enamel, and you notice that this is nice and smooth, and I put like 4 coats on it, and it soaked in. This used to be round like that there, you know, rounded. So that was kind of weird that it didn't melt it in anywhere except right here on these 2 little spots. But the rest of it actually fits in there real snug. And I noticed last time, if I put my thumb up here and try to hold steady, I was shaking around. But if you just relax, and let your thumb rest on the controller, just relax, let it rest, no big deal. So, we have lots of batteries. Just plug one in. And, let's see, proper procedure is turn it on. And then plug it in, and then I did that backwards, but no, I didn't. I was supposed to set it on the ground first, but I did let it sit for. Except that because it was sitting on that sloped hood, see how it wants to go to the backwards? I'm going to do this. I'm going to shut this off and unplug it and do this over and see if that makes a difference. This is back. Controller to the back, turn it on. The quad is not flat on the ground, then plug it in. Forward, back. Now let's see if that makes a difference. See how big a difference that makes. Wow. Because it was, sit down a minute, let me look over here. Because this is on a slope, and that's where I set it and logged it in, that's where the gyros synced up. So it was off. So that's why it's important to have it on level ground when you sync it up. Now one of these days I'll get to where I can just hover it like in one spot, like right like that, and make it stay right there. One of the benefits of living in the county, this is my document shredder. Oh yeah. Document shredder right there. Go ahead. Pick something out of that and put it together. Okay. Controller back. Power on. Kodo flat level. Wait. Get the battery connectors. Now put it flat level. Now connect. Oops, and then put the dang wire down here where it's out of the way. That wire, then forward, back, and where the heck's that camera thing? There you go. It was a lot more fun, you don't have to chase it. Hi! Oh, Battery's out already. So apparently, I think it's been, because it's been really windy and rainy, and oh, by the way, snow and ice for about 3 weeks. So I charged this stuff up. Uh-oh, I forgot to do that twice. Forgot to turn the camera off before I unplugged it. Crap. I wonder if what's that going to do to the video? Make it unreadable? Shoot. Throttle back. On. Level. Get your pieces. Get your connectors first. Then make sure it's level. And then plug them in. Then make sure the wires are out of the way. Then 1 and 2 and
I just don't know what to tell you.